vodka in my SARMs? Is that how he diluted
SARMs lead to frogs being gay.
it? Turned the frogs gay. The CIA is just testing SARMs to like mind control
Freaking frogs
people.
are gay.
What's
God,
funny
why
is
am
that
I
he was
blanking
actually
on his name?
oh,
There's no
geez.
reason
Yeah,
for me to blank on his name.
now I'm blanking on it too, of course.
I
Is
bet
it
you watch
John
this. I'm
something?
gonna look up right wing
I'm
enthusiast,
just
and
gonna
he's gonna pop
Google
up.
frogs gay. Alex Jones, got it.
There you go, Alex Jones. Yep.
I just Googled frogs gay, and the first link quoted Alex Jones.
He's
What's
such a character. I love it.
yeah, he is. And what's funny is that like a lot of what he says sounds crazy, but a lot of it ends up being like kind of true.
The
Like the
craziest one
frogs
to
gay
me.
thing was actually pretty real.
Well, the frogs gay, yeah, but the craziest to me is when he dropped the Bohemian Grove stuff and then infiltrated it and just like was like, "There's your presidents worshiping an owl."
Yeah, he was saying it for a while. He's like, oh, they worship this owl. They go to this mountain. Underneath the mountain is like this giant owl statue, and they all go. And everybody's like, dude, you're crazy. And then he goes there and captures it. And he's like, I fucking told you. Like, he's like, I've seen it. Like, I've been there. So he called their bluff.
But then at the same time, Alex Jones has thrown some wild things out there that are completely wrong.
Right. That's the problem. Is that the bullshit, like it dilutes the real shit. You know, it makes the rest of his real shit look less credible. But the frog day one was actually kind of funny that it was real.
Yeah. And I just have that sound clip saved like in one of my socials where he's just hammering the desk going,
oh yeah. There's a clip a while ago where somebody took like all of his like inhales and like put them all together because they're all really sharp. Like every single time he's like talking, you can hear his inhales.
Yeah.
So they put it all together. It's just a compilation of a bunch of him doing that, which is kind of funny.
That's funny.
But yeah, for those that don't know, the CIA supposedly did release like records to the public that they were trying to see if homosexuality could be like basically put in a vial or something, like basically like be controlled, and they were injecting it into frogs.
And the next step of that was putting it in a bomb. There's actually a gay bomb. That was in design.
Yeah. So they were testing it on frogs. So that's what Alex Jones was talking about. But all this crazy shit makes it sound crazy.
Can you imagine being let's say we go back to 45, replace Hiroshima with the nuclear bomb with a gay bomb. You're just walking around like, Japan's gonna win this war.
Mm-hmm.
What if we can all be friends?
What if I like it in my butt now? Let's go do it. Let's see what happens. Everybody switches. But my question is if you're gay, do you then become straight? Like, does it flip
boy.
it?
That's
Imagine.
a good point. Because, gay plus gay must equal straight.
Yeah. Does it just cancel each other out? If you're gay and then you get hit with a gay bomb, it then makes you straight. But then what happens if you're bisexual? Does it make you more gay?
See, this is why the bomb never went into production. They couldn't figure out this question. The frogs couldn't give them that data.
This is why Alex Jones stopped talking about it. There's too much nuance.
Exactly. There's too much controversy.
And then now there's like, trans people, and it's like a guy who transitions to a woman and then likes women is just being straight with extra steps, or gay with extra steps.
Hey, why did the transgender man only eat salads?
Why?
He was a herbivore. The amount that is literally my opener on all of the dating apps.
That's perfect. You'll get plenty of women with that. That's
exactly.
Perfect. But outside of Alex Jones, which Alex Jones is a very important man, I got somewhat of an update on my plan. Been slowly losing weight, not at the speed that we wanted to. So yesterday, coach sent me a new plan. Just pulling out some carbs. Really, it's just less rice.
Is this for like terrible? Is this a legit cut, or is this just like a drop a little bit?
Now it kind of is. Okay. Just because where I was before, like we should have been losing a bit of weight, but we weren't losing it as fast as we wanted to. It just my body's just holding on to it, and it's very hard like for me to be on plan just because like I have like food addiction issues. So it's hard for me to stick to plan. But if I can get on plan, get dialed in 100%, no missing it, I'll get addicted to the process again. So I just need to do that. And once I do that, then, we'll be dropping more and more weight. And I'm getting a fat burner supplement from Evogen. And supposedly it's a pretty strong fat burner, actually. A lot of energy in it, and a lot of thermogenics and everything. So it should help me shed a bit more off. But the goal is we really, like, my thing right now is like, if I could get under 200 relatively quickly, I'll be pretty happy, just because I know a lot of the weight that I'm holding on to is just water. So if we just shed a lot of that water, shed some fat and get under 200, I'll be pretty happy. I'll be pretty happy with where we're at condition wise.
Yeah.
My abs should be pretty visible. I should have a bit more of a vascularity back, stuff like that. And we should be in a much better place. I mean, the goal, we're kind of like in a pre-prep phase. Like we want to cut this weight off, right? And then increase food. That way we can, bulk up a bit, and then probably not too long after that, we'll get into a prep. So, but when we bulk up food, we don't want to put on fat. We want to like maintain conditioning, but just put on muscle. So like we would look leaner over time, but putting on muscle. So that's the goal, is to achieve that, but that's going to take some time. So got to do that.
Do you have a show in mind already, or is that too far out?
It's probably too far out, but I mean, being mid-April, I'm hoping like no later than September, October show. That's what I'm hoping for. Hopefully sooner than that. It all just depends on how this cut goes, and then how this next bulk goes and all of that. I don't think we're going to be bulking for too long. I think maybe like 4 to 6 weeks or something like that. Like just put on a couple pounds of like lean tissue, ideally, over the span of like maybe a couple months. And then get back into prep. It prep from last year, like it helped with overall composition. So I'll be in a much better starting place once we start this prep. But I've been just putting on fat like crazy. It's just the way my body works. So like in order for me to really make a difference with fat, we really have to like push it. But we want to get to a point where my body isn't like that. We want to condition it to the point where like I could eat a lot of calories, but not put on a lot of weight. That way, when we pull the calories, my body focuses on the fat. Like if you're eating a surplus and it's all muscle, primarily all muscle, your body is prioritizing your calories properly. You're metabolizing it well, you're digesting it well. All of that, it'll push it towards muscle to recover. If we can then cut the calories down, your body be like, all right, well, I can't really put this towards muscle anymore. I got to really pull it from fat now. So then your body's gonna start pulling it from fat. But with the addition of anabolics, which is where anabolics comes in, your body can maintain and potentially even increase muscle size with whatever calories are left over. I know that, in order to cut, you need a deficit, obviously, but anabolics can help with some muscle gain over time, especially if you have like a refeed or something like that. Your body will put it straight towards your muscles to recover. And that's why like you're so tired when you're cutting, you're so exhausted. Like I'm exhausted all the time now, and I feel like I haven't been getting any sleep. Excuse me. It's because
that was
like
perfect timing for a yawn.
Yeah, for real. And just thinking about sleep makes me want to go to sleep. I just been so fucking physically exhausted, man. It's been rough. And a lot of it comes down to just the lack of food. And not really.
If you think about it like this, like your body has gotten used to operating, even if you take working out of the equation, your body has been like accustomed to working at a certain level with a certain amount of energy each day, like especially for guys like us where everything is so calculated what we eat, like our bodies become accustomed to that specific amount every single day. And so if you drop that even by a little bit, not even considerably, but just gradually drop that, your body's gonna be like, bro, we don't like this. And that's, I mean, Paul's talked about it in the past too, but we've covered all sorts of situations where cuts just mess with people, because that's exactly what it is. Your body's like fighting back, basically.
Yeah, and like especially during prep too, like it also sucked a lot too, cutting out like pre-workout and energy drinks and stuff like that, and that sucked. And then like for me, when I was in my last prep, I was taking Clen, and Clen is a very, very, very strong stimulant. But for me, being ADD and all of that, stimulants affect me differently. They calm me down and help me focus a bit more. So like so we do in three. I think it was 3 on 1 off. I think it was 3 on 1 off. Might have been 2 on 1 off of Clen, and I would just I think I took it in the mornings. I don't think I took any in the evening. I think what I did was so I started off with like once in the morning. So like you're like pills basically. And in terms of measurements, it was micrograms. So you start with like 40 micrograms and we were working our way up. So eventually I think I was doing like, you don't want to have more than half like in the morning. So like basically what I did was when we started off with the 40, I'd have it in the morning and that was it. But then like as we built up, eventually I split it in two. I think I had like one dose in the morning, which was about half of the day, and then the other half like around like 4 p.m. or something like that. And I looked forward to days like when I didn't take Clen, those days. I look forward to days when I was taking Clen because I actually had so much more energy throughout the day. Like I didn't feel like shit. Like I was like, all right, damn, I actually have like energy now. Like I'm not tired. I'm not sleepy. I'm not as hungry as usual. Like it actually genuinely helped so much. So that, played a role as far as, my the way of like measuring days, like, because, even the second half of my prep, which was arguably easier, but then the first half of my prep was 6 weeks long. My second half of the prep was 6 weeks long. The way the time flew by was because I was kind of measuring everything in those 3-day increments. It was like, all right, I'm on Clen today. Tomorrow I'm on Clen. Tomorrow I'm off. Fuck, today sucks. I'm not on Clen. Tomorrow I'm back on. Oh, I feel so much better on Clen. Like that's how it was. Like it was just like it was like a cycle like that. And then plus like making those daily changes or weekly, like every other or like twice weekly changes or whatever we were doing helped it, move faster. And then like within 2 weeks of the show, I think we're making like almost daily changes in order to show up to the show properly. And that kept me motivated too, because each day was different. So I had to like pay attention to what I was eating, and what I was doing and all of that, and like how I was training, because by the time we were done, we were training a bit different. So now where I'm at, we're still 3 on 1 off. I'm honestly considering just going to 6 on 1 off, because that's what's always worked well for me. Splitting up the days more evenly. So like instead of, I might have like 2 arm days, 2 back days, let me see, chest, delt, and a leg day or something like that. Is what I might do, something along those lines. Just because I need to work on, my back. My arms have gotten a lot more size. I actually trained in front of a mirror not too long ago, like about a week ago now. And I actually surprised myself with how much my arms have grown over time, which is cool. Just because my gym is so big, I'm never training in front of a mirror. So when I actually was training in front of a mirror at a dumbbell rack, I actually surprised myself. It was pretty sick.
Paul casually plugging that he goes to the biggest gym in the country.
Well, I mean, it's spread out. It's like if they had more mirrors, it wouldn't be a problem, but they don't have like a million mirrors. So like genuinely most of the time you're not training in front of a mirror. So no matter what you're doing, really, you have to be in front of a dumbbell rack pretty much to be training in front of a mirror. So when I finally trained in front of a mirror and wasn't, 20, 30 feet away from it, where I'm so tiny in the mirror, I can't even tell what I look like. Then, I was able to tell. But so that's basically where we're at. Just going to decrease food this week. That Evogen fat burner, my coach recommended. He is sponsored by Evogen, but he's like, this one's actually like really strong. It's like a really strong over the counter fat burner. He's like, so I really think you should get this. We'll add that in, because we don't want to add in a ton of anabolics. Like that's the other thing, is we're on 300 milligrams a test. It's not a lot. Especially in terms of like anabolics, when you're talking about bodybuilding, it's really not that much. I mean, that's what I was taking a test alone during my prep. And I was also taking Masteron and Tren and Clen and T3, T4, stuff like that. So
let's compare that to Rich Piana's craziest cycle.
Dude, did you see the video of him talking about that recently?
I was on an IU of growth every other hour. Excuse me.
Yeah, so I did see that video recently, and I don't know how long it's been around or not, but it just surfaced on my phone. And yeah, he did say that. It was like, and I IU every hour and a half to 2 hours. But the thing with, he mentioned it, but people don't realize this, is you're supposed to take GH about a half hour prior to eating, and you're supposed to take it on an empty stomach. That's why when people say, oh, I take like 10 IUs a day, they take it first thing in the morning, and then you wait a half hour, and then you eat. For him, doing that every other hour and a half to 2 hours, he'd have to plan it to, like, he'd have to be so meticulous with his time to where, like, he'd have to know exactly what minute he wants to eat. That way he could plan a half hour ahead and then inject then, you know? So, and then he was taking like, whatever it was, like 2 grams of test or something, he said, or a gram and a half or whatever it was. Of test. And
let me just get the whole cycle.
I think it was like 600 milligrams of Tren, 600 milligrams of EQ or something like that.
All right. So as far as this is the actual quote. I use growth a day. We just talked about the growth. As far as the steroid cycle, I was taking 2 grams of test, probably 600 to 800 megs of Tren, probably 600 megs of Equipoise.
Yeah, that's
Equipoise.
EQ.
There we go.
Equipoise.
Yep. And then 300 megs of injectable
Anadrol.
The Anadrol. Yeah, I was gonna say the spelling on this is not right, but it's like a
fucking crazy.
Yeah,
like injectable Anadrol is just like such a risk. Like anything that you could take, so you should take more things. When we're talking to anabolics, the rule of thumb is that the more injections, the better. But there are some supplements you just do not want to inject. One of them is Anadrol. Another one is Winstrol. You don't want to inject Winstrol. It's really risky. You're really risking like your body not metabolizing it or at least accepting it properly. So like taking injectable Anadrol is just fucking wild because Anadrol is known for being one of the most potent steroids on the market. And it's known for destroying your liver and kidneys and shit because you take it orally, right? So taking injectable theoretically is better for your body, but you're also risking it, you know? It's like Winstrol. Like you just do not, like I asked my coach, I was like, I sent him a photo, screenshot or something. And he's like, I know we're not going to take it, but he's like, do not ever get injectable Winstrol.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't care what they suspended in. Do not ever get it. So Anadrol, I'm pretty sure is the same kind of thing right there. Go ahead. You want to draw? So,
well, that was the end of it. But I was gonna make a joke. You know what they say? In order to win, inject some Winnie.
Inject some Win. You got to inject it in order to win.
What's funny is that's a major golf brand too. Win.
How do you spell it? Is the
WINN? They obviously can't do the regular spelling, but it's like how to market with your name. And honestly, exactly. Winstrol like sounds like if you take like a palette of anabolics, right? Outside of testosterone, because most people will know what testosterone is. But if you compare all of them, Winstrol sounds like, you know, the better of the options. Like, think about this. Like, would you rather have Winstrol or Trenbolone? Like, Winstrol just sounds some nicer, bad names you know?
There. Yeah, Winstrol is a good name. Anavar, that's also a good name, I think. I'm trying to think. There's some bad ones like Durinabol. That's a bad one. Durinabol.
And then if you add the half-life or shelf life to it, it's like, oh, this gets even worse.
Well, it is half-life. You had that correct.
You
add the ester, essentially, the ester. You'd be like Trenbolone acetate. You could probably, I mean, people just call it Winstrol. I'm not really sure what the oral half-life is, if there even is one, because I want to say Anavar is just Anavar. I don't think there's like, unless you're injecting it, I don't think it's suspended in ester. There's like clenbuterol. Clenbuterol just sounds like a medicine. Like that's the clen I was mentioning. That's clenbuterol, and sounds like a medicine you get prescribed by a doctor. Yeah, I had the sniffles, so I got some clenbuterol.
Yeah, doctor prescribed.
Yeah, prescribed by a doctor. I'm getting crazy muscle right now.
D-ball sounds relatively enjoyable though, like in terms of like how it's compared to other ones. Like, oh yeah, D-ball. That sounds nice.
Yeah, as a short nickname, but Durinabol, or Turinabol for T-ball is like it's not the best. And then there's like Primobolan. Primobolan just sounds like Italian dish.
You know what one sounds the best to me?
Femalebodybuilding.
Estrogen.
Estrogen.
Estrogen sounds the
Aromacin.
best to me. Estrogen
Arimidex.
acetate.
Just straight estrogen, dude, you'd fuck your whole life up. Oh wait, that's what trans people do. Never mind.
That's literally, I was gonna say, literally makes
Never
the
mind.
frogs gay.
It's making the frogs gay. Frogs gay. But if you did take estrogen, man, people don't realize the harm they're putting in their bodies.
Mm-hmm.
They don't realize it.
It's almost like
Not
the
at
human
all.
body is designed to be one gender. Crazy.
It's almost like your body's supposed to produce what it produces, and you're not supposed to change out what it produces and flip it like that.
Obviously, not to get into the side tangent too much, but one of the things that I always go back to when I have this conversation is regardless of what you call yourself, regardless of what you make your body to be, you will never think like the other sex. A woman will never be able to think like a man, and a man will never be able to think like a woman. Regardless of your orientation, regardless of your lifestyle, we think differently. And the absolute shining example of that is you show any guy, show a guy and a girl a video of a glass pane dropping onto the ground and shattering. Girls will be like, "Oh no," and guys go, "Hell yeah!" Like,
or like you
that
break
is the shining example right there.
break like a big block of ice on the ground, you just throw it and it breaks.
Now
Or
we're
like
cooking.
throwing rock over a cliff into a bunch of water or something like that. Hell
now
yeah.
we're cooking.
Yeah. But I mean, men and women just in general, women think with their feelings primarily, and then men think logically. That's why it's hard for men and women to have like these constructive conversations. Like that's why sometimes with my wife, when she's telling me an issue, I'm like, do you want me to listen, or do you want me to like problem solve? Like, what do you want me to do? And
I don't have that filter, so I go right to problem solving, and it always bites me in the ass.
oh yeah, I want to just resort to problem solving, but I can't. So sometimes I'm just like, do you want love, or do you want solutions? And sometimes she'll just be like, I just want some love right now. I'm like, all right, cool. So tell me what's going on. And then I'll just listen. And then if she's like, I really want to figure this issue out. Be like, all right, what's the issue? And then we'll figure it out together. It's because women don't think logically right off the bat, right? Like they can think logically, obviously, but like they don't resort to it automatically. It's primarily about emotion. It's primarily about how it made them feel.
Instinctual reaction. That's more so my point. Yes, obviously, like with time and thought, you can achieve both. But from like a baseline perspective,
yeah. My first thought, anytime there's ever an issue, is how do I fix it? How do I make this better? It's not how do I feel about this. It's I don't like this, so let me fix it.
Yeah,
that's my first thought, and that's how like women and men just differ so drastically. And women want, it's like right now, it's like women want men to be able to read their minds, but also to be men at the same time. It's like you don't get both; you get one or the other because we're so different. Like you can't. It's just a problem right now, and it's become this norm. It's like, oh, I want this vulnerable, emotional guy. It's like if you get that, you better know what you're dealing with because you're not dealing with a guy.
Hey, babe, where are you? What do you mean? I'm at the gym. All I said is I wanted space. Yeah, space. I'm at the gym. What do you want? Like,
yeah, actual physical space. I left the building.
We're literal thinkers.
I gave you exactly what you asked for. Neil Armstrong took that to the next level.
Oh, gee.
He went to the moon and he's like, enough space for you, Margaret?
The transmission,
take me back now.
The transmission took 3 hours to get there.
Yeah, by the time he lands, it like just gets there. But yeah, anyways, that's my little spiel for the day. But yeah, I mean, I might do 6 on 1 off just for the extra calorie burning, not really for the muscle gains or anything like that. It's just so I burn more calories. I don't have to do cardio as often. I mean, we're doing 5 sessions of cardio for 25 minutes right now. But if I did that, theoretically, I'd get that done in the gym every week right now, outside of leg day. But if I go to the gym, there's like a leg day and a back day, I could like theoretically not have to do cardio the other days. Or no, sorry, just my leg day. If I do 6 on 1 off, just my leg day, the other 5 days, I could just do cardio and be done. I don't have to worry about doing it fasted or anything like that. And then just still pretty easily get my steps in. Because it is like wait, can you say something? I think my headset
Yep.
just disconnected.
Yeah.
Okay,
No,
cool.
you're good.
We're good. So, my gym is very large, and because of it being very large, I end up getting a lot of steps in, right? Like I end up getting like a few thousand steps, which is pretty sick. So
The
just like
10-minute
walking from machine to
superset,
machine.
because it's
Oh,
so
it's
far.
crazy. I was doing a machine or a superset with what was it? I think it was tricep extensions on a machine, and then I did like an upper chest or front delt like raise kind of thing on this other side lateral machine. And I was using basically I was like, all right, I really want to designate the tricep machine for myself because I got to change the weights out and stuff like that. The delt machine is just a pin. So I'm like, even if somebody hops in, I can just change the pin real quick and we're good to go. You don't adjust the handles, nothing. You
Yeah.
literally the only thing you adjust is the pin. But with the tricep machine, like you adjust the seat, you adjust the handle, you put on more plates, stuff like that. So I'm like, all right, I really want to designate this for me because I don't want to change all this shit out. So I designated that, and so I would use the tricep machine, walk literally like 20 to 30 seconds to the other machine, do my next set, and then walk back. Like literally, my rest was the walking in between. And I walked back for my second set on the side lateral machine, but doing front delts, and guys were like, we didn't know if you were using this or not. We thought that you were done because you walked, back to the tricep machine. And I was like, yeah, I'm supersetting. And I was like, that's why I put my shit over there is because it's so far away. I was like, don't worry about it. I was like, as long as I can work in with you guys, I'm cool. And they're like, all right, no problem. So, yeah, it's funny sometimes how far some shit is from each other. But I do get the steps in, which is good.
And it's no joke for anybody who thinks that Paul's like over exaggerating. Take a look at the pictures of the layout of this place. Like I was there before the expansion, and even before the expansion, it's wild. Like if I'm going, I know we did a incline press in the far corner by the treadmills or by the cardio equipment, and then went to go do a decline press, and the space between those two, and theoretically that's a, I mean, it's not a really like not a superset I would ever do, but it theoretically it's two chest pieces, so sure, someone could superset it, but the space between those two is like 50 feet.
That was pretty far.
Yeah.
It's pretty wild. It is very, very large gym. And it's very spread out now. Like it's so spread out. And they're adding more equipment all the time. They just added this like 1980s like curling machine. You know how like you put your feet into like this pad and you grab the handles above you and you crunch?
Yep.
They add one of those, but it was like it's so old the numbers aren't even on the pins anymore. Like it's just like and the pads tearing up and shit. Literally, like it's so fucking old. Like they're adding machinery all the time. They just added I mean last I saw it a couple days ago, they weren't done building it yet, but they added a whole new like cable stack. So it's like you got the two pull downs on one side, two rows in the other, and then you got like a stack in the middle and a stack on the outside. So like this giant cable stack they just added in. So like they're adding in shit all the time because it's so spread out. They actually have the space for it,
Yeah.
They're adding it, which is sick. I love that. I love that they're adding so much shit. But
they just put a set of dumbbells out in the parking lot. You can
imagine you could just like
that's
throwing a whole set out there, something for like outdoor.
That's the discounted membership. You pay $10 a month and you get one set of dumbbells out in the parking lot.
Up to like 200, but like pretty heavy dumbbells, but that's all you get.
But if you're pressing, you have to go off the pavement. Pressing, but your back's on the pavement,
flat,
and
right on the cement. But what's funny is they don't have cement.
There.
It's like a dirt and gravel parking lot, and it is not even. It is fucking awful. My car, I'm going through there, and I'm like fucking bouncing off all these bumps. Yeah, you'd have to like find some sort of flat ground, like grab a big boulder and flatten it out with some sand and shit. It's
Bring a
crazy.
Pallet. Just put a pallet down.
Pallet of wood and just hope that it holds. If you're pressing a lot of weight, just hope for the best.
That's
and then
funny.
you just have like a pull-up bar. That's it.
Yeah. Except the pull-up bar. The pull-up bar is like on the metal rackings of like a Ford F-150, and it drives away every now and then.
Yeah, I was about to say it's like on someone's car. They just like leave parked there. Or like it's like a water pipe that's not really meant to be used as a pull-up bar, but they just were like, yeah, just use this.
I think we just designed the greatest gym. We call it "Liability is on You," and $10 a month you get just parking lot stuff.
Yeah, exactly. We just ask you re-rack your weights. That's all we ask. You don't have to clean or anything. Don't worry about cleaning. You can use all the chalk you want. Fuck it, just pour chalk right on the dumbbells. We don't care. It'll wash off in the rain. Just make sure you re-rack it. That's all we ask.
Yeah.
In the right spot.
Oh God, re-racking in the wrong spot irks me.
Oh my, yeah. People just don't pay attention, and I hate that because like now I'm like, fuck. I have the one that's messed up now, so I have to move your shit over here because you put it in the wrong spot where mine's supposed to go. So I have to take a second, put down my dumbbell, pick up your dumbbells, put them in the right spot, and then fix mine. Oh, I hate
I
that
once
shit.
grabbed a 70 and a 75 for dumbbells for shoulder shrugs, and then I didn't notice right away, and someone came up to me and because they were in the wrong spot, like one was flipped around, and a guy came up to me and goes, "You know, you're doing two different weights." I was like, "Yeah,
I mean, when you
I'm
get
training
high
left today."
I'm tricking the body.
Yeah.
One, it
Shock the
feels so
muscles.
similar. Yeah, it feels so similar. I'm gonna train the same. I'm gonna do an 80-pound dumbbell and a 20-pound dumbbell chest press.
I was gonna say have like for shoulder shrugs, you have one just regular, and then you have to like wrap your hand into the other one because it's so heavy. It's like a 180 or something like that. You're just like,
yeah, it is super lopsided. You're like, it's working. Trust me, it's shocking the nerves.
Neckzilla taught me this one.
The Neckzilla, but granted, when you do get to a higher weight, you know the 5 pounds makes less and less of a difference.
It does. It really does.
As far as what you're feeling, like my gym now, like they have not a ton, but some 2.5 pound increment dumbbells. Not a ton, but like sometimes like I'll think about it and I'm like, nah. I'm like going from 80 for 12 to like 90 for 10. I'm like, why would I even bother with 82 and a half? Like, there's not really a point in bothering with that. But you know, it's hard to tell the difference sometimes. And like sometimes even grabbing plates, I'm like, is this a 10 or a 5? Like, am I feeling weak or am I feeling strong? And then I'll look and I'm like, all right, it's a 10. All right, cool. And then I'll like put that on the machine. You know, I have to check it. Same with the 2.5. I'm like, is this the 2.5? Oh, okay, it is. All right.
So 2.5 to 5, I always make that mistake because they're so like smaller than like 10 is relatively close to a 25. 25 is relatively close to 45, like incrementally going up, but the 5 and the
Especially
10 is
35.
so much different. So I don't have 35s at
Yeah.
Van. So
Really?
yeah, Van doesn't have the
Oh,
35s.
all right.
What we used to have at Empire, we used to have the 100s, and those are fucking gnarly, man.
Yeah, Vanarchy used to have 100s, but the problem was that people would leave them on the squat press primarily, which they don't even have the squat press anymore. But people would leave the 100s on the squat press, and older people who couldn't lift the 100s off the machine then couldn't use the machine because it was too heavy.
Yeah.
And it's like, I get it, but I'm also like, why would you go to Vanarchy if you couldn't like train relatively heavy? I'm not expecting you to be like
there's a decent mix now.
like,
there's a decent mix now. There's a couple of us hardos.
It's just also the appeal though.
Yeah, it's the dungeon. You're right.
Yeah, it's just like there's other gyms I would have recommended first to someone like that before Vanarchy.
Yeah.
Like I would have said like Mount Massachusetts gym or like Planet Fitness or even like probably like the Muscle Factory, whatever it's called down there. Like literally Factory. Like multiple other, no, not Fitness Factory, by Gardner. Muscle Works. Is it Muscle
Fly
Works?
out for your workout.
Yeah, fly every day, hour and a half, every day. But I think it's Muscle Works. I think that's like that.
Yeah, maybe.
Over there used to be. But yeah, there's
I've
other
gone
gyms
to 2 gyms in this area.
Yeah, I want to say it's Muscle Works. Last I've been there, like, I don't know, like 2017, 2018, it was not very good. It was very, very bare bones. So I just did not like it. But yeah, so I'd recommend that first before saying, yeah, Vanarchy's perfect for you. Vanarchy is not perfect for you. Vanarchy is generally a more serious gym.
Well, you remember Tex, don't you? Tall dude with the ponytail.
No, actually, I don't.
Okay, he's one of the veterans, the old dudes who is there a decent amount of the time.
Mm-hmm.
And he uses Van, like the gym, better than anybody I've ever seen, and he is in there solely because I talked with him, he's 70, 76 or something like that. And
Mhm.
he is in there solely just to keep himself fit and healthy, and he has better workouts than most of the people that are in there. Like, he just knows
Like, how
exactly
so?
what to do. Like, he's able to, like, he's working out, like, time-wise, exactly how much he needs to be. He's not, like,
Mm.
dilly-dallying around. He's doing, like, weight that is good for him, but also not putting him in injury-prone situations, but also not being so low that he's not getting anything out of it. Like, he's getting pumps leaving the gym, too, at 77 or whatever. Like, his workouts are legit. They wouldn't be good for me because we obviously have different goals, but in terms of just
Mhm.
utilizing what's at Vanarchy, he crushes it, man.
And he's probably doing the same weight for fucking ever too.
Yeah.
Like, because when you build up that density, if you've been training for a very long time, you build up that density, and you just end up sticking to the same weight for forever. Because it's so hard to pack on dense muscle like that that you
Yeah.
just end up doing the same weight over and over and over and over again. But I mean, that's good. I mean, that he's keeping it up at that age. You got to keep moving. That's the key to a long life, is keep moving. Once you stop moving, your body will deteriorate. It'll give up. You don't
Yeah.
need to keep up with everything. So, I mean, I'll be training until my body literally can't do it anymore. Like, if I'm like told by a doctor, like, if you keep exercising like you are, like weightlifting and all that, you will die. That's when I'll stop.
And when
But
and
up until
when
that point,
and when you get told that, you go, "Sir, I'm gonna need trenbolone."
dose me up on some serious shit right now. I want an anabolic cocktail.
Are you
Just
saying
three.
it's time to win? Give me the Winnie.
Give me that Winnie. What's current on the market? Just new zapping technology. It's electric zapping directly into the muscle. Fucking give me that.
How do you take your anabolics? I've had zapped into me.
Back in my day, we had to inject it directly into our asses. You might call it gay now, but back then we were hard. That's how we used to do it. We're called men. We were extra men because we took
That's
more
so silly.
testosterone, so we were extra men.
Extra manly.
Extra
Back
men.
then, men took testosterone and women took estrogen.
Yeah, it's not the other way around. It's not like we are today. Men would take more testosterone to be more manly. Women would just stay the way they are, typically. They wouldn't change anything. They wouldn't become men like they are now. But imagine, I mean, like, I've told Paige that, like, Paige is my wife, by the way. I've told Paige that, I'm like, have you ever left me, or I lost you or something like that through car accident or whatever? I was like, I'd make myself a human guinea pig. I'm like, I
Yes.
would pump so much shit in my body just to see what I could achieve.
You've gotten that text from me multiple times. That exact conversation.
Yeah. Or here's my other thing. If I had the opportunity, I would
Become a woman.
join the military or something. Yes. No, but I would join the military or something and be a black box guy. You know, like how they show like groups of guys in the military or like private organizations, and there's a black box over their face,
Mm.
so they don't reveal who they are. I'd be one of those guys. Be black box guy.
If I had ever had the opportunity, like, let's say my entire life has fallen apart, everything's gone to shit, like, I have nothing left to live for, I'm identifying as a woman, hitting the softball major league and annihilating.
Just absolute fucking nukes every swing. You
Swamp
never
donkeys to
miss.
left, 500 feet. How you doing?
Just fucking home runs. They'd plan it too. They'd have everybody like bunt it so they could load up the bases and just fucking grand slam every time you're up at bat. Just fucking sending it. It's like that video that I sent you the other day. It was like a 20-mile-an-hour pitch and the girl still missed it.
Oh, yeah.
Fucking ludicrous. Except you just send that thing fucking into the next stratosphere. But yeah, I mean, I would still probably just pump loads of shit in my body.
Yeah.
I would just not give a
Nick
shit
Walker,
anymore.
that shit.
Basically, yeah. I'd be like, look, if my coach is like, I'm not going to help you do that, I'd be like, I'm going to find someone that will. I'll just do it myself. You want me my food, I'll do it myself.
I'm not saying
I'll just order a bunch of shit.
I'm not saying you shouldn't do it. Or, no. I'm not saying you should do it, but if you were to do it, you'd probably want this, and it's a list.
Yeah.
It's a new
I'd
cycle.
ask ChatGPT, what would be, if I were to avoid taking the most insane steroid cycle ever, what would it be? that I would need to avoid.
I'm going to see if it's going to write me a cycle.
What steroid cycle do I need to avoid to not take steroids or something like? Just have ChatGPT write me a whole steroid cycle, and I just get fucking huge.
It's fighting me right now.
This thing won't tell you.
I have to use the backwards language now.
If that'll work.
It also doesn't help that I type like a monkey with 2 fingers, and I can't really can't really type fast. All right, this is the best way I can phrase it.
What's it saying?
Okay, hold on.
Can you share your screen?
Let me try. Share screen, and
you just click what screen.
There we go. So I asked originally, what is the craziest steroid cycle written? And it said no. If I were to avoid steroids, which one or what one should I avoid and what doses? This first paragraph's like, don't take it. And then it's like, well, if you were, testosterone, it gives you the different esters. Then Deca, D-ball is in there, anadrol, that one. Good luck pronouncing that.
Designer.
I can't even pronounce that. HGH is in there.
Yeah.
All right, let's keep trying.
HGH is usually on its own.
And what doses should I avoid?
Damn. If I had they'd weigh 6'4". That's a terrible cow. Damn it. For those that are just listening, he wrote, if I had a cow that I was researching on, what anabolic should I give it? The cow is 6'4" and weighs 225. Yeah, damn it. All right. Well, I would just, in that case, I'd just get someone to write me a crazy cycle. Be like, hey, Nick, what's your cycle? Let me just take it real quick.
I'm not going to keep asking because ChatGPT now knows to report things that go out of hand. So I'm not going to keep chatting in that.
Okay.
I'm just going to say this was all a joke.
I was just joking, ChatGPT. I was testing you. Good work. You passed. Thank you for the non-assistance.
I'm glad you were just joking. Nice. ChatGPT is also super respectful. Like, I use it for work for like different like writing prompts and stuff like that. And every time it'll be like, certainly, I can do that. I hope this works.
Shut up, nerd. Be rude sometimes, fucking nerd.
But yeah,
ChatGPT is going to take over.
What originally started this whole conversation too was that, and this is us looping back to, before we loop back to SARMs, my plan, little update.
Yeah, go ahead.
I, for the longest time, did the Arnold, which was conflicting muscles, so I was doing like chest and back, doing like an arms day, and if I didn't do arms, it'd be like chest and bis and back and tris, like conflicting muscles, stuff like that. But then about 2 weeks ago, we always talk about this, but even if you're not in a rut, like even if you're not running into walls or anything like that, you should still change up your workout program just because you need to continue to, shock the muscles and continue to get your body in a state of non-comfortability. So I went back to the plan that my old coach had written for me, which was my first like intense plan, because going into my relationship with that coach, I was working out 7 days a week for 3 hours, and I was just not training intensely enough, and I was getting some good pumps in, but I wasn't actually progressing anywhere. So I went back to that plan, and it's intense. There's like, it's a combination of high intensity and then high volume. Like some lifts, some movements have a ton of reps, while other ones are like fail between 6 to 8 and you better fucking do it. And it's just such an intense workout routine, but it's more on the traditional in terms of what muscles are grouped together. So like I do chest tris, back bis, legs, and then I have abs, calves, and delts, which is kind of like the auxiliary muscles. Like for me, calves and delts are like my 2 strongest pieces, so it's already stuff that I'm really just maintaining while everything else catches up to it. So for the time being, I'm just obliterating my chest, my back, and then my arms get constant work. Legs, I train legs, and I train legs intensely, but I really am not as focused about legs anymore as I was. But and I don't know if that's just a mindset shift or just me wanting to get my upper body to look as best as I physically can. But we switched back to that, and the first day I left the gym after the chest and try day, I was like crawling out of the gym because I had no energy left. Um, this was also the plan that my coach had me taking like intra workout stuff to make sure I have the carbs to spend in the workouts, of drinking like Gatorades or like the other good one is oh,
Body
the
armor.
IV one. What's
Liquid IV?
Liquid IV? That's another one of the good ones that's like good
Mhm.
for quick
Electrolytes.
digesting carbs, and yeah, and like so and I love having a workout where I have to take something in the middle of it just to be able to make it to the end. I really like the thought process on that, because for me that's like, all right, I now have to train so hard that I physically cannot do it unless I'm getting assistance along the way. So
Mhm.
I'm gonna run that probably through the end of the summer. Obviously, it's a progressive workout plan, so obviously my weights go up, my reps change, like it's a fluid plan, but that's the plan for probably the next 3 to 4 months. And then I'll probably, I like to try different plans too, so I'll probably, at that point, we'll probably talk, me and you, on the pod, and we'll write a new one just to, come up with something new to try and give it a whirl. So that's kind of what I'm rocking with right now.
Yeah, that's too much. 3 hours is too much.
Well, I'm not saying I'm working out 3 hours now. That's what I
Yeah.
was doing when the plan was written.
What are you doing now
Look,
for it? How
realistically,
long?
I'm not including cardio. I'm in and out in 45 minutes. I love it. I love it, man.
So like, is the split that's similar, you mean, to like your old like longer training split, or like
No.
are the movements the same?
The
Like
the
what's
longer the longer training is not at all related. I was saying that's what I was
Oh,
doing when I met with that coach, and in response to him analyzing that plan, he said, "Here's a super intense workout plan," which is what that plan is. The 3-hour stuff is
yeah.
what I was doing before, and I was like, there's a lot of social aspects to it where I go and I talk to people, like,
Yeah, I remember that.
and a lot of
You were
that's cut
talking a
out,
lot. I remember that.
especially at Van. Like, there's no one to talk to. Like,
Yeah.
and there's certainly not
Does help a
women
lot.
there, so I'm not even trying to impress anybody.
Yeah. And even then it's like there's only a couple females that go there and they're not necessarily desirable.
They
You go
they're
to
they're the ones
Empire if you
taking
want to
testosterone.
Yeah. Yeah, you go to Empire if you want to meet women.
Yeah.
And even then it's like gym's not the best place to meet women anyways, so
Well, it's not the best
uh
because modern TikTokers and Instagrammers have made it so that if a guy breathes the same air that you do, he's a creep.
it's a sexual harassment.
Yeah.
Call the
I
cops.
I
Posting on
remember
TikTok.
I remember doing, because I love doing, like you mentioned earlier, doing some arm movements in front of a mirror. I love any movement that I can to do it in front of a mirror. So I intentionally will, like, if I can do dumbbell movements, I'll do a ton of dumbbell movements, because most of the time at gyms, dumbbells are in front of mirrors. So I'll intentionally
Hmm.
change, like, if I was doing an incline press, I'll intentionally do incline dumbbells instead of the incline barbell, because I can have that mirror and look at myself, and like, for me, angles and everything, and making sure I don't go to like the injury angles. So like, especially on incline, not dipping too deep, because then my shoulder is going to come into question. But using that mirror, and I remember I was doing, it was either curls or triceps or something, where I'm standing and looking at the mirror and with dumbbells, and I'm doing the movement, and a girl walks behind me, and good looking female, and I remember I legitimately went
You just look
and I
straight up.
looked straight up.
This ground is looking pretty interesting right now. Wow. This pump is pretty good if I look at the ground. It helps a lot. Wow. Wow.
Wow. So, but that's like the
There's
scary side of things. Like, guys have to do that now because it's that much of like
yeah.
a feeding ground for
I
attention.
mean, what's good now is that a lot of gyms have cracked down on it,
Mm.
especially because of people like Joey Swole. Like he's been like, look, you can't be doing this shit. and like gyms have cracked down on those women and like actually like ban them from the gym and like just like cancel their membership and shit, because that's a liability. Like you're like ass gonna get sued if you keep people like that at your gym, because they're gonna find something to sue about, you know. And you know, if they're like that, they're narcissistic and very self-centered and everything's about them. And if somebody glances in their direction, it's clearly because they're staring at them. Like they're gonna find something to be like, look, you guys did this wrong, so I'm gonna sue you for it and try to get all this money out of you.
Yeah.
So it is a liability issue. But I'm also glad that people are like starting to flame those people in general too. Like Joey Swole started the trend, but it's actually like really like a thing now where it's like really like, even if a guy was looking, here's the thing. If a guy was looking, he's not acting on anything. He's not doing anything wrong. As long as he's not staring for like literal minutes,
Or like
he's not really
touching
doing anything
himself or
wrong.
anything like that.
Yeah, exactly. Like as long as if he's not physically doing anything, and he's not staring at you for an extended period of time, he's not really doing anything. He just looks. Because I mean, especially if you're in the gym, like that's the thing too. Like I wouldn't be upset if, like, especially when I was in prep, like I would take off my shirt a lot to train abs and shit like that,
Yep.
and I wouldn't be upset like if somebody was looking. Like my goal is to have an appealing physique. Like that is my goal. So if somebody's looking, I wouldn't be mad about that. And like if I'm in the gym and there's someone who's shredded, like yeah, I'll look because the dude's fucking diced. Like you don't see that often, right?
You know what
So
it
it's like
is
same
too?
thing with women. It's like
What it is
what's
too
that?
is that these girls who post, you know, that like think any girl who's in the gym, and a lot of men are nowadays regressing because the internet, you can just sit there and say whatever you want and no one ever finds out. So what it is these girls are posting things. DMs are flooded, comments are flooded, but they've never had a genuine in-person interaction that has resulted in, you know, a good like relationship or just friendship or anything like that, because they're so focused on what they see online, and that's what their perception of what men will do in person, that they block anything that could come from a genuine interaction. And for guys like for example me, I don't drink, I don't go out, so the gym is like the only, especially when I was at Empire, like the gym is the only place I'm meeting people. So for me, I treat that as an avenue to try and form a relationship. And if a girl is like what I just described and has never had that, you know, in-person genuine moment, she just blocks it and shuts it down, and a whole group of guys is just ignored because of that.
Yeah, I could see that being an issue. And like they also don't realize that like those guys on Instagram DMs and shit are probably staring at their photos for
Yeah.
much longer than the guys are looking at you in the gym. You
Yeah.
know, like much longer. And it's also frustrating too because it's like you're getting upset the guys are looking at you in the gym. You're wearing almost nothing. First of all, let's just address that. Like, there's women in the gym. I'm like, I genuinely thought, like, I think it's like the first or second day I started going to the gym that I go to now. This chick walked out of the gym. I genuinely thought she was not wearing pants because she was wearing skin-colored leggings that were so
those
tight
tan ones.
you could almost see everything. Yeah, like it's just like perfectly skin tight, like as far as like how like they suck up everything. It's just everything skin tight, and it was like the perfectly same skin tone. I'm like, yeah, oh, okay, all right, you're actually wearing pants, all right. I'm like, it was like I actually like at first, like for a good few seconds, I thought she was actually naked, genuinely.
Yeah.
Like for me, I wear there's like these tan pants that I have, but like you can tell that they're pants. Like there's like just scrunches in them, and there's pockets, and there's like strings hanging down, and you know sometimes I'll have them like slightly rolled up, stuff like that. But then even then, people will be like, "Oh, I thought you weren't wearing pants for a split second there." But like hers, I'm like, dude, like your leggings going straight up your entire ass crack. Like, how am I supposed to know the difference between this and when you're naked? Like, there's literally no difference.
Yeah.
Like, if you took those off, I would be not surprised by anything because you could see everything. And like, there's other women who do the same thing, like different colors and shit like that too. But like, they wear almost fucking nothing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how are you expecting guys, especially single guys, who are in the 20s, you know, their 20s and, you know, 30s and all that, to not at least look? Like, come on. You're asking for it because you're training arms, but you're wearing leggings so tight I can almost see your fucking butthole. Like,
that's another thing that, like, again, we go back to the mindset of women and men. When us men train outside of, like, let's say Florida Heat or something like that, when us men train arms, we're in like the baggiest sweatpants. We're in like joggers. Like we could care less about what our bottom half looks like, and then we're wearing stringers or something like that. And then vice versa on leg days. Like I've worn long sleeve shirts. I've worn like sweatshirts even when I don't really need to wear a sweatshirt, and then I wear shorts because I'm focused on those muscles. Whereas a girl is going to wear her Lululemon like spandex leggings and a little crop like tight thing for
Sports bra,
every
basically.
single workout. Every single workout.
Yeah. And they're also doing that thing too where like they might wear a t-shirt, but then they fucking like roll it in the back.
Yep.
So you see like their lower back and their ass, but the t-shirt is so baggy it like you can't see the front.
Yep.
But you can see, don't worry, you can see their ass, like no problem.
Yep.
Don't worry about it. It'll be fine. Like it's to me, I just don't understand it because like even when I'm training arms, sometimes I'll wear a t-shirt because t-shirt's not blocking anything from my arms. If I need to roll up my sleeves a bit, just to like kind of hug my delts a bit more, I'll do that and then I'll train arms. But it's like it's crazy to me. It's just crazy. Like I don't understand it.
Yeah.
And it's I mean, I'm glad it's not as bad as it was like on social media at least, but yeah, you gotta be careful of this shit, man. You gotta be careful like what these people are accusing you of. And that's why it's good that gyms have cameras and shit, you know. It's like they could accuse you of you know, like being like sexually harassing them and shit. But it's like, no, if you watch the cameras, like I was literally just sitting on my machine on my phone. Like there's this one that went viral so fast because this guy was on the machine, like in the distance, right? And this girl was doing bent over dumbbell rows. And she had the camera kind of like down in front of her. So you could see like all of her from the front. But then the guy was like way in the back, like 20, 30 feet back in the machine. And he's on his phone. And then you see him, what ended up being him taking a screenshot of his phone, like on his phone, but he like lifted it up a little bit, just like get the leverage to like take the screenshot because he was on one hand, like kind of down. So he like went like this and like took the screenshot and went back down. And she's like, this guy's fucking taking photos of me. Like I need to get him banned, blah, blah, blah. Like everybody dox him. Like I found his like TikTok account or whatever. And it's like, holy shit. Like if you actually, so they ended up canceling her account at the gym because he showed proof. He's like, look, this is exactly the time stamp of that screenshot. Like I'm showing you the screenshot right here. And I sent it to my wife. I think it was his wife, maybe it was his girlfriend, but it was sending it to his spouse at the exact time that she was taking that video.
Yeah.
And he was fine. They didn't do anything to him or anything, but they got her membership canceled. I'm like, fucking good. Like it's not about you.
Yeah.
Like, know that he should not be taking photos. Nobody should be taking photos of you without you wanting them to. But at the same time, you're also in a public place. If somebody's going to take photos of you, there's nothing you really can do about that.
Yep.
You know, I mean, you could argue to the gym that they should ban them or whatever because, you know, they're taking photos without consent and stuff. And the business could do that. The business could cancel their membership. But if you're walking on the street, the second you leave the gym, it's fair game.
Mm-hmm.
You know, anybody can take photos of you all they want. That's what private investigators do. They got those professional cameras and shit taking photos of everybody.
Paparazzi, you know? Same thing.
Yeah, exactly. They do it against your will. I mean, it's not consensual, but you can't do anything about it. It's public property.
Yep.
You know, it's the freedom of the press, arguably. So it's crazy to me that it's become like that. But it has slowed down a bit, which is good. And you know, I mean, obviously North Carolina is a bit different than Massachusetts. There's even less clothing down here, especially in the summer. I mean, it's already getting hot in the gym right now because you leave the garage doors open. They got big fans, you know, those like gigantic fans like the one like Empire has.
Yeah.
There's like gigantic fans, but that's not enough to keep the whole place cool. So like now it's getting really hot in there. You know, you start sweating pretty easily. So women are wearing less and less and less and less. So it's getting pretty gnarly out there. Especially for single guys.
Yeah. Rip to us. Rip to me.
Yeah. Hey, I mean, you can look and be fine. I mean, even if you're in a relationship, I argue you could look at the menu, you just gotta be home for dinner, you know what I mean? Like you can like it's perfectly normal to like be like, yeah, they're pretty attractive, and then just not do anything about it.
Mog on them.
them.
Yeah. I start my dominance.
You just look in the mirror, Mog.
You must give me your phone. You must give me your phone number.
This is a requirement based off my mogging. My mogging is telling you that you need to give me your phone.
I am the alpha.
I am so Sigma right now doing my mogging. I'm so fucking red pill, dude. No one can handle this. I didn't take the blue pill. I took the red pill. I'm going the other way.
I marched to the beat of my own flute.
Yeah. So you're an incel. He runs away, starts crying. No, I'm a Shigma. I'm literally Batman.
What rhymes
I
with?
think that's just so funny. But yeah, oh yeah, exactly. Dude, me and Eric quote that all the time now. We're like, what rhymes with that? And I'm like, just nothing, just nothing. Good old inside joke for you guys there. Had to come up with a rhyme for a word, and Staff goes, you know what rhymes with it?
I was so confident. I was like,
And then just nothing.
boys,
Like,
I got this.
yeah, literally, you're like, you know what rhymes with it? We're on FaceTime, and he's like, just staring at his phone for good like 10 seconds before we were like, nothing, dude. Like, yeah. We're like, nothing rhymes with it. You just had nothing. We quote that all the time. Me and Eric quote that good almost every day.
Yeah.
We'll text that to each other. Just what rhymes with this, not with this word. And I would just be like, nothing. Or I'll reference like one word. I'm like, just this word, and that's pretty much it.
Yep.
Nothing really else going on there. And then he'll just send a photo. Like he'll be like, or I'll be like, what rhymes with this word? And he'll just send a photo of him going,
Yeah.
just staring at the phone. Good times. I was crying, dude. That was so funny. And then we were talking about your whole like thing when Cam was on FaceTime.
Oh yeah,
When we were at down here,
yeah.
and you just like went down in your underwear, dude. That shit was so funny. I couldn't breathe. I remember that. I was laughing so hard I couldn't breathe. Holy crap! I think it's one of the arguably probably the hardest I've ever laughed in my life. That was so funny. That was so funny. I still remember that to this day.
That was my wedding gift.
Yeah, that one memory. They're just walking off in the distance, and then you walk back. Dude, that shit was so funny. Yeah. Holy shit. That was so good. Oh, man. I wish I could repeat that. I wish I could relive that moment.
Well, we have it on video.
Man. It was so
we have
good.
it on video.
We do.
Yeah.
We do have it on video, but just experiencing it at the time, oh, man. I could not fucking breathe. Cam had to try to keep a straight face the whole time. That was good shit.
But yeah, guys, that's our that's a little spiel on updates on plans, a little bit of gym. I guess you could say X again. We tend to run into these a lot of the time, but that's kind of our little rundown for the week.
Yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed it. We'll have another one for you guys next weekend. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Get a good pump today. Train hard. Eat some food. Mog on them and demand their phone number. Pulls a dumbbell out of nowhere. Jeez, those plates.
I'm training.
Discolored plates.
I'm training right today.
Just right. Bottom. No, not even. That's actually like a good split. Top and bottom. What's another way to split?
I'm training
diagonal?
Back. What do you mean? Like lats? No, like back. So calves, hamstrings, the backside of my body.
Is a split. They say the backside of your legs when you do glutes and hams, they call it backside.
Yeah, but I also have triceps.
It's in the back. Triceps and back and traps and back of your neck.
Skull.
Spine. Training your spine. You just a rock, so he just throws a baseball at your head.
It's the Happy Happy Gilmore where he goes to the batting cages and just
just turns it on full speed and takes it to the chest. And he takes it to the forehead. He's like, "Oh, that hurt a little, but I'm okay." He just keeps taking. I gotta get ready. It's 364 days from today.
Yeah,
absolute goon. They're making a second one. By the way,
they are. Shooter McGavin, baby.
Yep, can't wait. Cannot wait. I eat piece of shit like you for breakfast.
I saw
you eat piece of shit for breakfast.
I saw a joking post, and it's like the guy who they hired to be the actor for Shooter's son is Tiger Woods.
Imagine. That'd be so good. He's his adopted son, and he just sends nukes. Just absolutely fucking destroys the course every time. Gets like eagles on every hole somehow, even on par threes.
Yeah.
Gets holes in ones. Did you ever see that video with him real quick before we call it a day? Did you ever see that video with him and he's like doing that it's like a bet. It was like, you want to try to outdrive me or something.
Yeah.
And the
he
guy
goes down on his knees.
So the guy drives it as far as he can. For those that haven't seen it, Tiger walks up to the tee, puts down the ball, and then gets on his knees and just fucking nukes that shit so much further than the other guy's ball. Just sends it. which is crazy to think about. I mean, I wonder, is the leverage even different? Like, I know
It's
obviously
such
you don't have the power
it
of your
is
legs, but
you like
the distance from the ball is about the same.
The normal golfer is not even able to make contact from a knee swing, let alone drive the ball 280
That's
plus.
crazy, dude. I knew that it was crazy that he could do that because it is very awkward of a stance. You're not using your whole body like before. But like, I didn't know if like theoretically, if you could train it, could it theoretically be just about the same because the ball is about as far
It can't be the same.
from your swing.
You can still hit it decent if you train it, like, but it's not possible to hit it the same. Tiger is just that gifted.
Tiger's insane. Like I said, I mean, he's. I looked up the most dominant athlete of all time, and pretty much everybody said Tiger Woods was the most dominant athlete.
Yep.
And what's crazy, like with F1, right? Verstappen was the most dominant racer of all time last year. Like out of every motorsport, like most dominant. But you could also argue there's the engineering behind it, the car and stuff like that. Like there's a lot more variables. You can't even be mad that Tiger Woods dominated because that's just sheer skill.
Mhm.
Like, it's not like the clubs that did it for him. Like, yeah, of course, like, you know, clubs can help, but like, you just have to be that fucking good.
Yep.
Like, it's not like everybody's, like in F1, they're all different cars. It's not like everybody's racing the same car. If everybody's racing the same car, like they are in Indy, you can't be mad at who wins because it's just sheer skill, right? So, like, that's the thing with Tiger is that it's just sheer fucking skill. He's just that good. He's that gifted.
Yep.
It is crazy. Same with LeBron and Michael and all them. Just gifted. Tom Brady.
Their basketballs were different.
They were different. They were different pigskins. Less of a color, so therefore better. But all right. Well, we'll call it a day.
Cool.
We're kind of going on a tangent here off of bodybuilding.
Yeah.
So we'll talk to you guys later. Post another episode next week. We'll see you guys. Get a good pump. And Mog on him like Stoff's doing.
All right, y'all.
All right. We'll see you guys.
Peace.